Hey guys, this is Jules. I want to share a project, my assignment actually, my craft warehouse assignment number 4 that we got using simple stories. I was lucky enough to get the documented collection, which I was secretly hoping for. We are working with a 12 by 12 page that has a 12 by 6 piece and then 3 4 by 6s. And then I made a card. Very simple card. This is using American Crafts cardstock that you can find at your craft warehouse. And this one was our choice to create something more elaborate. We can put our style completely in here however we wanted. So that's what I did. One of the challenges was to use, we had to use ribbon from our welcome kit. So I went ahead and to soften up the black and the browns, the dark chocolates and stuff, I wanted to use white and play off of the blue off of our shirts here. If you have any questions, you guys let me know and enjoy the tutorial. So here's the page protector with the 4 pockets. This is by Doodlebug Designs. And oh my gosh, this paper, you guys, it's so pretty. There's so much to play with too. So many things to cut out. So many words to use. It's so fun. So this is basically the layout I came up with, just how to rearrange these cards here. Because I knew I wanted the one the page that's on the left there. So once I figured out what I wanted for the pockets, it was a little bit easier than to decide what to put where. So this is some American Craft sheer ribbon with white polka dots. Not too sure where I was gonna permanently adhere it down, like on the top part or the bottom part, but it's there. It's sitting there right now. So what I'm spelling out is me and dad. Just the 2 words me, and then the word dad. So this is some American Craft thickers. They're chipboard alphabets. I love those. And then I want to use the little ones because in our assignment they tell us what they'd like us to use, and so we try and stick by that and use it however we want, which is so cool. I really love the challenge of that. It is not limiting at all. It is challenging you and laying something in front of you and saying, here, go ahead and do something with that. And you have to come up with it. And it just is, it's the MacGyver way of scrapbooking, which is awesome. As y'all know, MacGyver survived everything. So as scrappers being challenged, you'll survive. You will. So what I did is I cut out some different design cardstock from the paper collection, and I made these 2 little banner strips, one to have the word me on it and the other one to have the word dad on it. So I was distressing the edges, and I went to ink it up with walnut stain distress ink. And Craft Warehouse pretty much carries all of the inks. They also have the distress tools there and the distresser, the paper distresser. See, this card here says snapshots of a. Well, I just changed it around to a snapshot of me and my dad. So I changed the title part of it. I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, let me cut this out. So I did. I cut it apart and stuff. I actually did, I didn't show it here, but I did distress the edges of a snapshot of, and I believe I inked a little bit of it with either black soot or walnut stain distress ink. So see this vintage camera, I really liked it. So I just cut it out because, of course, it's talking about a snapshot. It's a layout. There's a photo there, so it went perfect with it. So put it on some dimensionals there, and that way it stands up a little bit. Now this is a sticker button, or a button sticker, that I put onto some chipboard and made my own little chipboard piece. And that twine you can also find at Craft Warehouse. So here's where I'm just going to set things down. I already journaled on there, and you'll be able to read it on a photo over on my blog. There's a detailed photo there. So using glossy accents here for several of the pieces for this pocket layout. I'm using it for this part here. This is the little document, the little word documented comes from the little strip of the identification of that 12 by 12 sheet. There's the logo's there, so I just cut the logo out and used it for a little tabby on that one card. This is crackle accents, so I used glossy and crackled for this project. This is also crackle accents for this entire three-piece of the title. And I am seeing there that I did distress it with some of the ink, and it just kind of helps with framing it, in my opinion, so that's what I like to do. So once it dries, it's all crackled and has a really cool look to it. This is glossy accents on top of the butterfly. You can see the center of the flower there. That's an asterisk from the alphabet thicker sheet. So I used 2 of them for both green flowers. And the green flowers come from a Petaloo paper flower pack that you can also find at Craft Warehouse. So there's the note there, and basically having my thoughts down on there, what I see Anna's little, not Anna's little, I mean her her attitude towards her dad. So here's the layout that I really like this layout. This was really fun to make. So I chose that polka dotted distressed 12 by 12 and cut up this paper here to use different elements of it. I like that title there, so I'm going to use that. So this basically, this photo mat is going to work as the point where everything comes off of. You'll see at the end, everything is basically surrounding this photo mat part here. Just distressing this here, just to give that rough look. And I did not ink these edges at all. I wanted to expose the white core of the paper because I wanted to soften it with white. So that's why I used the white tulle and the white lace for this layout. So I'm actually going to put adhesive on the very center part, mainly on the center part of that side, and stick it down to some black cardstock. So there's something else I have to do here. I wanted to mimic one of the photo overlays with having the design on top of the photo. So what I did with this is I cut out some of the flourishes so that I can tuck a photo, or the photo of my husband and myself behind it. That way this flourish is coming up in front of the picture. And I did glue them down, and you'll see that later on. So I'm just using a craft knife and cutting out these very, very detailed flourishes. You have to be careful when you do this, and just be careful that you don't tear the flourishes and stuff, and that you don't cut yourself with the craft knife. It's pretty sharp. So see how it's looking there? I really liked how that looked. Pretty, love that. So I'm just trying to see placement wise, what am I going to do? What am I going to do next? So it's time to make some. So here's the white tulle, and I manipulated it a lot, just stretched it out and stuff, and then I made these little bows, little bow ties. And I was like, oh, I can totally play with this, and it was just easy to manipulate and mess with. So I made 8 of those per flower for 2 flowers, and then cut snips in it to make petals. So I put together these 2 flowers in a totally different way. So it just whatever comes at the time. I change my mind a lot through through my projects, so they don't always come out exactly as planned, because they're not really planned. So I'm just gonna stick that brad down. I love the scrap circle punch for the flower center. It just gives a good contrast there to me. So I just kind of alternated these little guys, little bows on the back side here. Just manipulating the leaves, make them a little fluffier. So I put all 8 behind there. And again, I did make 2 of those flowers with the 8 layers of tulle. create a little bit more texture, I did put the heat tool on it to crinkle it up, to burn it just a little bit. When it gets too hot, it shrivels. So I wanted to give it some body. So that's what I did. So see this, I had to cut the prongs off of the brad because I did it backwards, or differently, I guess you can say, for this one flower with the blue daisy back there. So I took the prongs off and cut them off, and then I went ahead and hot glued it down as if I pierced it. Whatever though, whatever works. I love fabric with paper flowers. Is so pretty. It really is. This one was an extra that I had cut, and I'm like, okay, I can make leaves out of that. So I used that little piece for this little flower, this 2-layer flower, to make leaves for it. And it came out perfect. And it just softened up the whole layout to me, the tool did. So just looking forward to cut. See how much there is to cut? All these words. I mean, you can use these for cards and layouts, smaller layouts, tags. I mean, really, you can use a lot of the stuff in the Simple Stories paper collections for tons of things. So here I'm just messing with the paper. I'm just rolling it. People ask me all the time what do I do to it? Do I add do I spray it down with something? I don't. It's thick enough, and the papers they're really thick. So I just tear it and roll it, and it's pretty much it. So I kind of pre-measure how much I need of the lace to peek through. Um, and then once I know how much I need, then I just cut that off. And to avoid more bulk, I did cut the bottom half off, because the only thing that's going to be peeking are these little flowers on this edge here. So what I do is I place it, and then I hold it still, and then I glue it down, anchor it down with some hot glue, and then I glue the rest of the lace down, and then I glue the paper around it, kind of sealing it so that it doesn't come up. So the 12 by 12 paper, the top part, the polka dotted part, is already glued down in the very center, but I leave all the way the edges completely left without adhering because I was going to do this. And then when I'm done with the layout, I end up going back and adding glue in different areas that I left unadhered, because I wanted to leave it open in case I wanted to do something with some of the paper, some of the, tuck something behind another piece or something like that. So I never adhere it all the way until I'm done. So here's some, just exposing some more of the lace. Love how it looks. And it does soften it up to me. I really like the white. So I'm going to do the same thing with this photo mat here, and tear it and curl it, distress it. One of my favorite things, actually maybe my most favorite thing, is distressing. So I'm just going to adhere the photo down. And I did distress the edges of the photo as well. So I love how that looks. I really do. See, I don't go all the way to the edge again, because I might tuck something behind that photo mat too. Just have things come out from behind it. So I'm just going to glue these down, and I'm using some Tombow Mono Multi Glue. I'm not too sure about this glue quite yet, but because I don't use a whole lot of it. But it worked. It worked fine for this project. So here's just a border that I cut out. There was a sticker that I could have used, but it was already cut out, so I just kind of cut the details out, leaving like 4 scallops, and then I end up cutting another scallop off, and then I cut another scallop off. See, there's 3 now. And then there's 2. That's just kind of what goes on, things change in the middle of stuff for me sometimes, in the middle of a project. So again, with looking for placement for the flowers, so I did find where they should be homed, and setting them there. This is the sticker sheet here, and I just used the smaller part of the flourish from it and used it behind my flowers. And these little guys were hard to get off, so I had to really fast forward and cut and edit through this little area. Took forever to get get those little letters out. So I'm just hot gluing the us down, and then I'm gonna arrange these little alphabet stickers. I'm gonna find placement, and then what I do is add some more of the Tombow mono multi glue to the back ends, and I mean, it's already self adhesive. Um, I just add more adhesive to make sure it sticks. So there it is there. U and I equal us. So now I want like a strip coming all the way across the front. So I have two small pieces of this paper here, and I'm just going to tuck it behind the photo to make it look like that strip is coming out from the back side. But it's at different levels. If you notice, the left side is a little higher than the right. Trying to have the curl match with the curl that's on the cardstock. And then these two little banner flags were already part of the cardstock or the paper collection, so I just cut those out. I had some already cut out because I had another plan I thought, but it didn't. I just kind of did this instead. So I add those two and tucked it behind the photo mat. So I'm cutting another piece of that same striped paper because the back side is the polka dot, and I wanted some that lighter polka dot there, so it didn't feel completely done yet. Now the Together Forever is already adhered. The flowers you see are already adhered. There's a sticker to the right side of my husband, a little star and the damask sticker. And the title that says How Sweet It Is to Be Loved by You. I've already glued that down at this point. And here's the American Craft cardstock again that I use for the card base. And I just cut it at 10 inches by 7. And then I score from where the 10 inches, I scored it in half to 5. And I made the card a 5 by 7 size for the card base. And this is some of the ribbon from our welcome kit. It has brown polka dots on it. And I taped it on the back side of this design. It looks like a postcard size paper that I cut out of the collection. And I'm gonna layer it with another sheet from the collection that is a much lighter cream that will contrast really, really well with the card base because the card base is this chocolate brown like the ribbon you see here. So it just has a good contrast. So this is going to sit right on top of this part here. So it's basically a 2-layer with a paper uh, scrolly ribbon kind of thing off on the side. So it's extremely simple. Never made a card this simple before. Actually, I don't think I've made cards without flowers before, but this one was a simple stories one, and it's really a card that you can make in less than 10 minutes. So I'm just distressing the edges of the card base with my paper distressor, and then the card part, the paper collection that's on top. Simple, 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 guys, simple. And there's tons of words and sentiments and stuff in this collection that you can use for your cards. Really nice. And I wanted to make this look like a kind of a scrolly kind of a sentiment. And I wanted to make it dimensional too, so you'll see here how I achieved that. So this is creased, this part isn't. And then up here, I crease this part here that's going to get tucked back, but I leave it just curled. And then I use an end of a paintbrush to define that curl a little bit more. So it has that dimension on it. I really like this part. So I'm just gluing that so it'll just stay put. See that? Just a little bit more tape on the back side. Then I'm just going to glue that down. And then the very center just to make sure it doesn't get pulled up or pulled off. So there. Then glue down the bow and you're pretty much done. Yay! So there's my projects, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I know that it was a 20-minute video, but there was 3 projects that I needed to make and I wanted to show you guys as much as I could without it going way over. But you can find basically everything that I used here at Craft Warehouse, and I'll leave their website, a link to the website, and detailed pictures over on my blog. The links are down below the video here. So, but if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, Jules signing out of the Jule box for Craft Warehouse. Bye, everybody.